Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Dloading podcast. I got Brandon Cote on as my guest for episode 2. How are you doing today, B-Dog?
Doing good. I thought I had to bring out the Minnesota jersey because I saw Chuck bring out his Rockets jersey last time, so I thought I'd flex too, huh?
Love it. Love to see it. All teams around the NBA being showcased already here in the podcast. Well, let's get in right into it here. Got some good segments today for the episode. The first one, we're going to talk about the game this weekend, Super Bowl 56. And let's just start with this, Brandon. What were your biggest takeaways from the game on Sunday?
That was a good game. Really enjoyed it, and I was super glad that Aaron Donald finally got his Super Bowl. I'm wondering if he's gonna retire or not. I know he said during the parade that he's like, well, if we're bringing back the whole squad, I might as well run it back again. I'm like, let's see how realistic that is. I couldn't believe they had that team. With all that talent. I forgot Von Miller was on the team. And I'm like, he was like the best defensive player on that Broncos team when they won it back a few years, right?
Right, yeah, he was the Super Bowl MVP actually of Super Bowl 50 against the Panthers.
Yeah, what the hell? Like they also like Jalen Ramsey's. That would have been really tragic for that organization if they took the L against the Bengals. Like I saw the defensive roster. I'm like, who's even on their defense?
No, yeah, I mean the Bengals defense D line I think was probably the biggest shocker in the second half. I mean they played really well. I was really shocked.
Yeah, seriously, because it was the Rams that were really struggling with the running, right? Like with Cam Akers, and I mean,
Yeah, their run game was not doing so hot that game. Um, but yeah, some of my
horrible.
takeaways were I mean, like you said, they played the Bengals. The Bengals, no one thought they were going to make the Super Bowl, but man, the Rams really battled adversity, losing Odell Beckham quick like that. And they didn't even have their tight end. They were down to their third and fourth string receivers. And it was pretty much double teaming Cooper Cup the whole game and just having him make the play, and the run game was doing nothing too. Another big thing I saw in the game too was the Bengals won the turnover battle and they didn't win the game. Um, that's pretty surprising, honestly, looking at every other Super Bowl. And the Bengals, on those two turnovers, they settle for field goals. They didn't get any touchdowns, and you gotta get touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly, Dane. They did not convert on those turnovers, and I believe when they started the second half, the Rams, Matthew Stafford threw that pick, and they were almost in the red zone when for the Bengals, and that was probably the biggest momentum shift I remember in the Super Bowl. And if the Bengals score a touchdown, that was just a huge opportunity they missed on. They could have really ran away with it, but the Rams defense really suppressed that and stopped the momentum, and it allowed for Matthew Stafford and Cooper Cup to do their thing at the end.
Right, yeah, let's go to Cooper Cup. He had 8 receptions, 92 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the game. Was the Super Bowl MVP. Man, if you're not saying he's the best receiver in the NFL right now, you might be going a little crazy because, man, that guy is talented. Just had an amazing game, and I definitely didn't see him winning Super Bowl MVP. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, what for Cooper Cup? If you don't think he was the best receiver this season, I think you're stupid, and I won't respect many of your takes. I'll just say that. But yeah, the last drive Matthew Stafford and Cooper Cup had, it was just those two going at it. The way Cooper Cup stepped up after Odell Beckham tore his ACL was incredible to watch, and it was an absolute honor to see the work he did, not only in the Super Bowl playoffs, but also just throughout the whole regular season. It was super cool to watch, and probably the best season I've ever witnessed from a wide receiver.
Yeah, I wouldn't go too far saying that either. One other thing I wanted to say before we move on is, the penalties were a big conversation in this game. And, I was actually talking to someone at work. They're saying, the Bengals got screwed, and I totally disagree with that. Just I'm glad that the refs let them play, you know, but Jalen Ramsey, that touchdown from T. Higgins, first play, second half, that was a flag. That was a huge missed call, huge missed call in the game.
That was so ridiculous, Dane. I mean, yeah, I think there were some noticeable f ups or fuck ups by the referees. I mean, that play that 75-yard touchdown was like, okay, come on, like grab the face mask and all, but even like the last drive when the Rams won it, it was 3rd and 10, and one of the Bengals guys got called for holding. I was like, okay, but then you have to remember going back to that play, so it's just like it's kind of evened out, but I don't know. But I also wanted to ask you, what did you think of the halftime show?
It was great. I really enjoyed it. I didn't think it was gonna be that good, honestly, going into it. I didn't have, I didn't know what it was gonna be like, but I enjoyed it. It was really good. What about you?
I enjoyed it too. I mean, the Eminem lose yourself. I was like, okay. I mean, like when Kendrick Lamar came out and played all right. I mean, no, it was super cool. Yeah, I didn't really grow up listening to like Dr. Dre or like that Mary J Bridge girl. Don't think that's her name, but yeah, I didn't really grow up with that. But I think that was definitely a halftime show for the millennials, not necessarily our generation. But I thought like the people in our age group could still relate to that with like Kendrick and Eminem. So that was awesome. And then the 50 Cent guest appearance. Whoa, like hanging upside down.
No, yeah. Let's just end it saying I think they did a little better than the weekend last year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, let's get to this. Obviously we had the big trade go down last week with the NBA. James Harden is heading to Philly, Ben Simmons to Brooklyn. And there were some reports that I got into reading about that Durant and James Harden actually disagreed on the style of offense while in Brooklyn together. It was reported that KD and Steve Nash wanted a free flowing offense while Harden wanted a more ISO ball kind of offense going on in Brooklyn. B Dog, was the chemistry on the court the issue for the Nets and why it didn't work for the big three down there?
Well, I'm not really shocked it didn't work out. It didn't work out. Like you just mentioned, their offensive styles were just they contradicted each other so much. And gosh, they after the trade, they've been saying so many passive aggressive statements to the media, like about like each other. Like they won't like name drop each other, but like they'll be like, yeah, like James Harden's like, oh yeah, I'm finally glad to be part of a team that actually wants to win. And I'm like, God, okay, like I did not realize how many issues they had. And to conclude, like that was such a huge failure by the Brooklyn Nets franchise to get those three stars together, and they only played like 20 games. Like, oh god, come on.
Yeah, they only actually played. I got that stat right here. They only played 16 games together. All three of them on the floor at once. 16 games. They did have a 13-3 record. I mean, I just with the attitudes of Harden and KD and Kyrie, they're all just so different. KD's just kind of his own person. Harden, you know, was just injured so much last year, and Kyrie as well. Kind of what's been going on with him with the pandemic and everything going on with him. I just felt like they just didn't have any time playing basketball together. There was just always a story in Brooklyn. You're always reading something, something's going on with it. So I don't think the chemistry was the issue because I mean they were 13-3 together when they were on the floor. I mean they won games, but like I said, it almost seemed like they just didn't want to play together or just something else was going on. And you're reading some things about what you see now uh, that was going on there, and then you see KD. I don't know if you watched the All Star draft. KD did not select James Harden with the last pick and went with Rudy Gobert, and LeBron was just dying over it. And I just think KD honestly the biggest mistake ever, maybe in NBA history, was leaving the Golden State Warriors.
Wow, what a claim. I mean, God, I don't even remember why he left the Warriors. I think was it just because like have his like own championship or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that was
yeah, Kyrie wanted to play with him, and he trusted Kyrie. And one thing I also think from this trade is Kyrie Irving, you got to step up, man. There is They got a bunch of role players, and who knows when Ben Simmons is going to come back. Kyrie Irving, you need to get out there and play.
yeah. I mean, even with the Ben Simmons thing, that's gonna be really interesting to watch. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember like what your take on like who like won the trade or not, but I was kind of confused on why Brooklyn did that because I felt like they with their team they had like they were the second best team in the East, but I felt like after that trade with Philly, like they're now third. I mean, I think we gotta see how it plays out and whatnot, but I don't know. Like the James Harden and Joel Embiid duo, like that's gonna be scary. Like I'm excited for that.
No, very excited. I mean, the East, like I said on the last episode, the East has slowly, I think, probably better than the West right now, honestly. If you're looking at the playoff teams, like it's competitive over there with Philly, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Chicago, Cleveland's playing well. The Celtics just won, I believe, 9 or 10 in a row. It's just the East is just really picking up now, and it's competitive over there.
And it is so refreshing to watch an Eastern Conference that actually has multiple competitive teams because I feel like for the past few years or whatnot, it has just been the competition has been really concentrated in the Western Conference. And as a Timberwolves fan, I am relieved that it's starting to even out a bit more so we can get a chance this year. But yeah, I'm glad there's multiple teams. There's multiple championship threats in the Eastern Conference.
Right. And I don't know if you watched James Harden's press conference in Philly at all, but I kind of found this interesting that he said, I don't know if I even believe this. Harden said when he was being traded to Houston, Philly was his number one choice over the Nets. I honestly,
I didn't.
go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't watch the press conference, but I did see it on Instagram, and I was shocked that that's probably not a good thing to know as a if you're a guy on the Brooklyn Nets, like as your teammate. Like, oh, I guess this wasn't your top choice because, I mean, even Woj was reporting on it that oh Harden wants to go to Brooklyn and whatnot. So
Yeah, you never know who to believe. And, I just kind of found this report interesting. Brooklyn staff was saying Harden was seen rolling his eyes when plays were called for Kevin Durant and not him in Brooklyn.
oh, that's so weird. Yeah, the rolling the eyes thing. I mean, going back to that statistic you said about them going 13-3.
Right.
That's not from this season, right? It's from last season.
It's from all games, their whole entire time together while on the
Because I mean,
Nets.
like, I don't remember them playing much together this year. Like, I feel like that's more like last year, maybe. I could be so wrong on that, but yeah, it just seems like it recently it's just been like really boiling up, and it finally exploded. I mean, see you later, James Harden, and welcome Ben Simmons.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see kind of where they go from there. And I really like the trade for Philly. I agree with you. I mean, I cannot wait to watch the duo of James Harden, Joel Embiid. Well, let's get to another NBA topic here. The biggest disappointment I think of the year so far is the Los Angeles Lakers. As we know, they traded for Russell Westbrook this offseason, and it has not been working out. They did just pick up a win last night against Utah, but they are looking at the ninth seed, I believe, right now in the West. Brandon Cote, is Russell Westbrook to blame for the Lakers' struggles this season?
I mean, partially, yeah. I mean, the shooting statistics have just been horrendous, and I think it also doesn't help that Anthony Davis isn't really healthy. Like, didn't he just get injured like last night?
Yes,
Or
he had
yeah, like
he had X-rays last night. They came back negative, but I do not know what's the deal with him. I just read that this morning waking up. So, AD looks like he's going to be out at least till All-Star break this weekend, so we'll see.
Yeah, and once that trade broke true this summer, right away I'm like, how would that ever work? I just feel like Russell Westbrook needs the ball so much, and so does LeBron, and it's just like, and those big three like all together, their strong suit is not shooting. I mean, I'm not really trusting those three to keep consistently shoot threes. And who's even who are the 3-point shooters on the Lakers? You got like Malik Monk.
And Avery
Who else
Bradley
is
and
there?
Carmelo, that's probably about it right now. That's really been shooting the ball at a okay clip this year.
Yeah, you're gonna need to surround yourself with better shooters. I mean, even just hearing those three, I'm not like wowed by it. But yeah, it's. I mean, I thought the Brooklyn Nets big three was embarrassing, but like this might be worse. And it's also so hard too because with LeBron's age, it's so hard to like. I bet it's so hard for him to decide like, should I back out now or like move on from this or stick with it because you have like such limited amount of time of greatness left. So that should be really interesting to see coming up. But I mean, he wants to play with his son too.
Right, that did just come out that he'd be willing to leave the Lakers to go play with his son. I saw that report as well. Well, I do think Russell Westbrook is a part of the struggles. I do not believe he is the biggest problem for the Lakers. They are just not.
What
Go ahead.
what is the biggest problem you think?
I just think they're old. Um, LeBron chose. LeBron has clearly been running the show here, and it's his fault that they brought Westbrook in. This was 100% LeBron's decision. It's been reported all along that he wanted to bring Westbrook in. He chose Westbrook over Buddy Hield at the end of the day. And man, I just, as a Laker born and raised fan, I was skeptical. I was a little excited, but skeptical just how they play together. It just doesn't seem like it works. It just doesn't work. We've seen about 50 games pretty much of it, and it's not working. So, I think the Lakers are in a really tough spot right now because they've traded a lot of their young players. They only got THC left, and they've traded all their picks away to get Anthony Davis. Um, like you said, LeBron and Westbrook both are ball dominant. They both need the ball in their hands to create. Um, like you said, let's talk about Anthony Davis as well. Anthony Davis has not been the same since the bubble, clearly. Um, the Lakers just have many issues here. They just look old when I watch them play. They're not playing defense like they used to. Not even their defense is, I think, even way worse than it was last year. Looking at them, so yeah, I think LeBron is a little bit. I wouldn't say he's not locked in, but I don't know. I just see a different LeBron now in this stage of his career after that championship. I just really think he's like, okay, I'm cool with just getting them a ring and living in LA and just having a great time. And I saw him tweet, he's like, let's all have a party, all three of the teams in LA. And I'm like, the old LeBron James would never say that. Like, don't be satisfied with a 2020 ring, LeBron. Everyone's looking right now that you're the ninth seed in the West with three all-star players that have been all-star players for a long time in the NBA and ninth in the West. So we will see what happens there.
Going back to that party thing, he invited the Clippers, the Lakers team, and another team to have a party during the season. Is that what you're
He
trying to? Is that what you're saying?
he tweeted that he wanted all because of COVID, all the NBA teams to celebrate their championships all at once. So he wanted a parade for the Lakers, the Dodgers, and the Rams.
Whatever, LeBron. I mean, if the Timberwolves see the Lakers in the playoffs or playing games, whatever, let's just say I'm not scared. I'm really not.
I wouldn't be either, but it'll be interesting to see if they can, make a little push here in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get to another NFL question. I read this, found it interesting that USA Today new coach, Broncos coach Nathaniel Hackett reported to be pushing hard for Aaron Rodgers to come to Denver this offseason. B-Dog, do you think Aaron Rodgers will be traded this offseason?
No, I don't think he will. Especially to those bum ass Denver Broncos. Sorry, Drynens, but I mean, oh god, who's even on the Broncos? I mean, even anywhere. No, I think he just won an MVP. I don't get like why would the Packers try to trade him away? I mean, unless like he was like really, really pushing for it and it was like a huge locker room problem, but no, like realistically and logically, I don't think so. But as a Minnesota Vikings fan, I do hope he gets traded to some other team in the AFC. You know, why not go join the Broncos? Yeah, go try that with like what, like Courtland Sutton and Jerry Judy. Yeah, I mean,
All right. I also believe that he's not going to be traded this offseason. I just think the Packers have set him up for success all around. Just they love him there, that small town. I think he could struggle in a bigger city a little bit, just kind of how he deals with the media a little bit. And like you said, if he were going to go to Denver, he's got to play Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, and Justin Herbert twice a year compared to playing Kirk Cousins, Justin Fields, and Jared Goff twice a year. I don't know. That just seems like quite an easier path to get to the Super Bowl. And the Packers need to stay in win now mode because, man, that last playoff game was not good for them.
yeah, no, that's it. That's definitely a good point you bring about the teams he would play in the division if he did go over to Denver. That AFC West is truly competitive. I mean, even like all the teams on the West are so competitive with the NFC West as well. But yeah, like you definitely want to be going up against guys like Jared and Justin Fields. I mean, Kirk Cousins. I mean, I think he'll go crazy next season. You know, watch out for that guy. But the other two teams, yeah, walk in the park.
No, completely. I just look at the divisions too. Like you said, the AFC West is so loaded. You could argue that there's all three of those guys are top 12 quarterbacks. You can say what you want about Derek Carr, but that guy puts up numbers for sure.
Yeah, and hopefully the Packers don't waste their draft pick on another freaking quarterback. I mean, help the guy out.
Yeah, no, it should be interesting to kind of see what happens there with Jordan Love. So, yeah, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is heading out of town just yet. He said, I did see that he reported that he's not going to take too much time on his decision and make that decision hopefully sooner rather than later as free agency comes along. So we'll see what the Packers do, and hopefully they can. They also got to get Devontae Adams back, so that'll be interesting as well.
Oh yeah, that's huge. I mean, I was also gonna say, I wonder if the breakup with his fiance, I think Shailene Woodley, is gonna affect his decision at all. Because I saw that break yesterday or the other day. So
Right, yeah, I did see that as well. Maybe he'll just stay in the cold Green Bay, Wisconsin, and just enjoy his nice place out there instead of moving west to LA or something or Denver.
yeah.
Well, all right. I got one more here for episode 2. Once again, guys, it's the Dloading podcast, episode 2 here with Brandon Cote. Gonna be uploading every week, guys. Having a new guest on every week, so stay in touch for that. I will be uploading this on YouTube as well. You can look me up on YouTube, Dane Simpson. Hit that like and subscribe, guys. Would really appreciate it. And yeah, like I said, every week we're gonna be dropping something. And lastly, here I got one more here for the episode. We've been talking a lot of NBA, who's the best, who is the worst, all that kind of stuff. But who is the team to beat in the NBA that you think right now is the champion right now? If you had to pick somebody, who's the team to beat right now in the NBA?
Wow, I'd probably say the Phoenix Suns. I mean, because they're number one in the Western Conference, I believe, and there hasn't been a lot of media coverage around them, but they're still the same good old team. I mean, their bench and their depth is really helpful and amazing. And Chris Paul and Devin Booker, that backcourt's back at it again. And I really hope, if the Timberwolves don't make it, obviously, I do hope the Suns get a ring because I kind of want to see Chris win one for one. So, yeah.
Right. And I think my answer is going to be a little surprising to some people, but I'm actually going to say the Golden State Warriors. Here's why. I just trust Steph Curry more in the postseason than Chris Paul, to be quite frank with you. The Warriors are still the second team in the West right now, and they have been hit with the injury bug. They still don't have James Wiseman, which I just saw this morning that he is cleared to scrimmage in full contact. So they should be getting him back sometime past the All-Star break. They also are missing Draymond Green with an injury. I think those two, with the ability to play small ball with Clay back, I think, and also Andrew Wiggins, and they built a better bench with Jordan Poole as well coming off the bench. I think they're going to be super hard to play against in this modern NBA, spacing the floor with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond, Andrew Wiggins, and you could even put Jordan Poole out there just as a small ball lineup.
Yeah, no, the injuries are some really good points, and hopefully that team gets it figured out when it heads into playoffs because I feel like if the Suns have that issue, I mean, they have the depth to substitute for that, and I feel like the Warriors don't. I mean, James Wiseman and I forgot his name, like the other rookie who's like a forward that's on
Kuminga.
the front court. Yeah, like I mean, that's great and all, but I just I don't I think DeAndre Ayton will give him the work. I wouldn't like that if I was a Warriors fan. So it'd be a close matchup if they did meet in the Western Conference Finals, but I think with playoffs, it is so vital to have a solid bench, and especially when injuries happen, and they're going to happen, and you can't always use that as an excuse. But if the Warriors are fully healthy, I mean, damn, yeah, they could totally take it.
No, I definitely see that series going if they do meet in the Western at least 6 games. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to a game 7 for either of those teams. No, I really do believe right now that like we said, the East is very competitive right now, but I believe the two best teams right now in the NBA are out West.
Oh wow, do you think the third best team is in the East?
I do. I do believe that. Like you said,
Oh,
it's been up and down, but I do believe that if I had to pick who's going to be in the finals right now, I would say Philadelphia or Milwaukee again.
interesting. Okay, I think I definitely got Milwaukee, but we'll see. We'll see how James Harden fits in because obviously didn't work for his last team. But
Yeah, we will see. Well, I got one more fun question before we wrap it up today, guys. B Dog, who do you got Sunday night All Star Weekend? Team LeBron or Team KD?
ooh, if I remember correctly, I'm gonna go with Team LeBron. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't like KD starting five at all. I don't like their starting five at all, and he's not playing it either. Um, I don't know. Just the fact that LeBron got James Harden with the last pick is just amazing to me. So yeah,
Well, he's not even playing. like,
right, right.
like, yeah, of course, he has a hamstring injury. I'm like, okay, man.
That kind of seems to be the story of late almost with these injuries.
Yeah.
But no, I think LeBron. I just like the way he's picked these last couple drafts, getting Steph Curry. I think watching him and Steph Curry is so fun to watch. Like last year in the All Star
Yeah.
game, and then he has Giannis as well this year. I'm so excited to watch.
Yeah, I can't believe Giannis and Steph and LeBron James are on the same team. That is astounding.
Yeah, unreal. I mean, I cannot believe KD picked. No offense to Joel Embiid, think he's been great this year, but I am taking Steph Curry with my second pick over Joel Embiid there with who KD take with his first pick.
Oh yeah, I would too. I mean, I think you were picking Joel Embiid over Steph Curry. I think you're absolutely tripping, but
Yeah, no, that'll do it for this episode. Like we said, we like Team LeBron. We had some good talks about the NBA, James Harden, who's the best team in the league. We had some NFL talk with Super Bowl 56 and talk Lakers as well, guys. Well, thank you, Brandon Cote, for coming on, guys. Well, that's going to do it for episode 2. Look forward to next week. We are going to have another guest on, going to be talking some college basketball for sure on that next episode next week. B-Dog, thank you for joining.
I'm excited for next week, and thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
All right, everyone. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care, guys.